You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. How much cosmetic surgery? Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Plastic or cosmetic surgery is big business. People would have it initially to address the consequences of, say, scarring from an accident or burns. Then there were those that thought, well, actually, there's a defect in my appearance, or at least they see it that way, that they would like to have corrected to boost their self-confidence and self-esteem. For instance, someone who might have an overly large nose, or they want a birthmark removed, or perhaps that they got jug ears that they wanted pinned back. And thus, what many would agree would be noticeable appearance issues could be corrected, and that helped the individual have a better account of themselves. But then it began to morph into an extension of feeling better about yourself: breast augmentation, pectoral implants, liposuction. And then it moved more into individuals wanting to look younger, that they wanted to improve their appearance to feel better about themselves, when objectively viewed, ostensibly, there was nothing really wrong with them in the first place. Moving on from correcting the issues arising from injury, such as burns or scars, or a noticeable physical imperfection, it then became the case of it was simply about wanting to look a particular way because they felt younger, that they thought that they looked better, even though there was not a lot to improve. And as a consequence of that, celebrity cosmetic surgery has been particularly big business. This has resulted in notable disasters. And as I speak to you, you can see some of those on your screen, including the likes of Kenny Rogers, Donatella Versace, Michael Jackson, perhaps the most famous example of plastic surgery gone wrong amongst men, and joined by Jocelyn Wildenstein, who perhaps is the most famous example when it comes to women. There's Mickey Rourke, Carrot Top, Priscilla Presley, Meg Ryan, Amanda Lepore, Jennifer Grey, who had a nose which was on the large side, but once had that removed, didn't even look like herself any longer. Kim Basinger, Tori Spelling, Melanie Griffith, Emmanuel Bayard, Sidney Romay, Simon Cowell, Nevin Siganovich, and the twins Igor and Grichka Bogdanov. With many of those individuals that you've seen floating across the screen, previously they were good-looking individuals who didn't nearly need any work whatsoever. But the advancement of age and the deterioration of their looks, albeit minimal, caused them to believe that obtaining cosmetic or plastic surgery was an appropriate thing to do. All of this is generated by the narcissistic trait of vanity. Doesn't mean that they're all narcissists, but rather that that trait of vanity means that they want to try and maintain their youthful look, rather than realizing that as you age, your looks can, but not always, deteriorate. There are plenty of examples of people who have grown old gracefully. Accordingly, with some of the individuals that you've seen on the screen, their narcissism definitely drove them to want to undertake cosmetic surgery. The deterioration of their looks, at least in their mind, amounted to a threat to their need for control. As they aged, they will have seen younger people getting roles, and that will also threaten their sense of subconscious need for control. The fact that those people were drawing the admiring glances when they no longer were, And for a narcissist, it is particularly difficult that where once upon a time they were the talk of the town, that they turned heads, and when that starts to fade because of their fading looks, that is particularly difficult for a narcissist to accept and swallow, and, of course, amounts to a threat to control, because they're not getting the fuel that they once did. This one's wife has undertaken cosmetic surgery also. Her appearance is notably different. Why has this one's wife undertaken cosmetic surgery? Well, as a narcissist and a somatic one, her appearance is fundamental to her. She believes that she is beautiful, stunning, fascinating, and she wishes to maintain that. And in so doing, she embraces cosmetic surgery. What is also interesting, of course, is that as part of doing so, she appears to be removing aspects of her that are linked to being a person of colour, also showing her hypocrisy, altering the shape of her nose, for instance, and removing the frizz from her hair. As a somatic narcissist, looks and appearance are fundamental to her, and therefore, although she doesn't always get it right, see parts passim as to why that is, she relies upon her appearance as a means subconsciously to control people. She believes that they will look on agog, women thinking, oh, I so want to wear what she's wearing and look like her. Men thinking, whoa, she's sexy, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Their reactions provide fuel to her. Therefore, ensuring that her appearance is one of being youthful and attractive, at least in her eyes, is hugely important to her. But how much cosmetic surgery has she had? It's clear that she has had some, because a comparison of early photographs to those that are later, for example, the one that appears in the thumbnail to this video, shows demonstrative differences. A thread was recently posted on the subreddit Saint This One's Wife, they use her full name, I do not, which was started by Chrissy Brown, comparing the relative nose jobs that this one's wife has had. There then followed considerable and detailed, and in instances informed observation about the amount of cosmetic surgery that this one's wife has undertaken. It's quite a list. Now, of course, this is speculation, but, and I don't need to go into detail as to what people had written, but some of it was founded on what appeared to me to be quite sound principles. Furthermore, in some instances they had relied upon observations that had been provided in other work by plastic surgeons. The list of suspected cosmetic surgery when it came to this one's wife is as follows. At least 2 nose jobs, rhinoplasty. Cheek implants, which latterly have been exaggerated by her weight loss. A new chin. Her jawline has had lipo. She had boob implants, which were then removed. She's had lip fillers, Botox, ultherapy, buccal fat removal. She's Botoxed her masseter muscles. A list of at least 10 procedures, and probably more besides. Fairly comprehensive, and of course explains where some of the money has gone. Now, not all of that list may entirely be accurate, but it cannot be denied that she has undertaken cosmetic surgery because the results can be seen. She's perfectly at liberty, of course, to undertake cosmetic surgery. It's her face, it's her body, and she's using her money. And therefore, if she wishes to do it, she can. But the motivations for doing so are not driven by those that ordinarily might follow for a non-narcissist, but are driven by the need to pursue those prime aims. She simply thinks to herself that it's to make her look better, and therefore she feels better about herself. But what's really driving this is her somatic narcissism. The necessity of looking younger, the necessity of looking attractive, at least in her mind, so that people will react accordingly to that and will end up appreciating her, admiring her, lauding her. All of that demonstrates that those people are under control and that they're providing her with that much needed fuel. How much cosmetic surgery do you think this one's wife has had? It's all driven by her narcissism, but how much do you believe that she has undertaken? Let me know in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.